Hello, hello. Welcome back. We have one more Llamas brother to do, and that is George. If you haven't joined us previously to do the background and to Sid and Harry, I will link that playlist in the description box below, and this is a free downloadable PDF from my website, copingcreatively.net, and I also have a color chart of all the colors we're using on this page. We are using Tim Holtz Distressed Oxide on the background. We are using Tombow dual brush pens as a base for our colored pencils, which are Derwent Procolor. And for the end, we are going to add some bright and shiny details with the Art Spirit watercolor paints. That should be pretty fun and interesting. We are going to start working on George. The pencil we are using for him is the Burnt Umber, and we may pull in some of the gunmetal or the ivory black for his shading. We'll also be using the white for highlights and the Derwent blender to blend everything together. This set didn't come with a black, it just has this ivory black, so I did pull in a Prismacolor black because we'll need it for like his eyes and probably inside his ears. And if you haven't colored with me before, I pretty much color by the seat of my pants. I get an idea in my head and just run with it, and we'll see how it comes out. So let me zoom you in on George, and we'll just start filling in with the Burnt Umber. And I'm just going to start filling this in with color. Now he looks pretty much like a redhead right now. Maybe if we add this Burnt Umber, he will tone down a little bit. He was supposed to be our brunette. Sid was the blonde, goofy guy. Harry was supposed to be the dark, handsome, debonair llama, and then George here was supposed to be the fun-loving brunette, but he's been more like a redhead. But it looks like we're getting to darken some of this up. And we'll define these little hairs here later because it goes right over his other hair. But we're just going to be doing a lot of filling here. You can go in circles, lines. I pretty much start in circles, and then as we get going into the fur, I start doing more fur strokes up and down, you see, like that. Just kind of do a combination just to get things going. And you'll notice your pencil may be having just a little trouble going over the markers, and that's because it's a water base. You've already got some tooth of the paper used up. What we did with the watercolor markers was, because this is such a large area, and I had used these Derwent pencils previously, and it seemed like no matter how many layers I put in, you could still see some of the white of the paper, especially if you took a picture of it. So I thought maybe if we use it over a marker, we could get better results. And the reason I chose watercolor markers from Tombow is because alcohol markers don't agree with me. They're really strong and the scent gives me a headache. So maybe if anybody out there knows of a good alcohol marker that doesn't have a strong smell to it, comment below. I'll check those out and use them in a future color along. Now I'm trying not to do this hair here, kind of keep a difference going. Now that we got a layer in, I want to start just going up and down, kind of mimic the way fur would go. I'm trying not to get into his hair too much here, because I don't want those to be as dark as his body. We may go in with some of the brown ochre and see what it does. That covered up pretty good. And left a nice little reddish base color underneath. Since this is so dark, I'll probably use Prismacolor black for shadows, which I'm going to put some along here, make it a little darker around his beard, and down his neck here. I think his highlights should be kind of in here. Yeah, that's not going to show up very well, is it? We may just have to keep him pretty much two-tone with the black and the burnt umber, which I'm going back in with to kind of blend out some of this black. I'll take the blender pencil and blend all this together. May have to add some more shadows. Yeah, I think I'm going to go over with another layer of the black, darken this up a little bit more. A little bit more of the white in here, kind of lighten certain areas up. It'll blend in with the blender. And then one more pass with the burnt umber and then the blender, and his body should be done. Then we'll move on to his face. and the blender one more time. I'm just pulling this down, making it in the motion of how his fur would be. Okay, that part's done. Let's move on to his face. I'm gonna do the dark area first. This is gonna be hard getting in between all these hairs. Starting off lightly, kind of getting in there. And I'm gonna do his nose too at the same time. Because we're using the same color, the burnt umber, but since this is a lighter background, the color will be totally different. So just start filling in these areas with the burnt umber. And I want to try to get his face here the same color as down here, which is that dark brunette color. I'm going to take the Prismacolor black and then make my shadows around his hair, onto his eyes, those out of the way, shadowing around his nose. Blend this together. Don't blend his eye, you don't need to blend his eye. Same with this eye, just go around it. And I'm going to go in here and blend this together. One more round with the burnt umber on his face. Hair is going to take us forever. Just filling in some of these white areas. A little more black. Adding color in his eyes. More shadows. I gotta put some more of that burnt umber in here. And then I'm gonna go in with the white in areas here to lighten this up. Let's blend all that together. I'm gonna go in with the black and do some detail work here around his face and his nose. And I'm gonna go in with the white and add some highlights. Looks like I missed a little black right in here. Go back over with the burnt umber, kind of blend this here. A little more white there. I think I want just a little more dark right in here. I know I just put white there, but I didn't need to go all the way up in there. Put some more down in here. Now his face is done. Let's start on his hair. I'm gonna start over here and kind of, but I'm gonna need to put you on your side. Let's take the burnt umber and I want to do a quick see what this brown ochre will do. I think it just doesn't fit. We'll just use the burnt umber in white and black. Now you're gonna need a sharp point for this. So we're gonna have to get these little hairs here that we didn't get. For these hairs we don't have to go in as hard as we did with the body, because you want some of the marker color to come through. Contrast between the pencil color and the marker and the brown, the black, the white. You just want to tame some of this redness down. And start pulling some of this dark in this way. Follow the lines of the hair here. Wherever you see white areas, just try to fill it in with your pencil. I think we might have to do his ears before we finish up his hair. It's getting a nice brunette looking color. I'm going to flip you over and get the other side. And then to get this last little bit on top, we'll do it upside down and get his ears at the same time. Oh, we got these little white dots to cover up. If it doesn't cover up very well, then don't worry about it. We'll do something else with it. Just trying to get all these ends that I didn't get with the marker. Behind your head, we'll do this part here and get his ears. Some more of these white spots here. Let's do his ears. Same as his body here. I want it to be a little darker than his hair. Going with the Prismacolor black and the inside of his ears. Dark hairs here. And blend this out a little bit here. Staying away from the inside part of his ears. Burnt umber. I'm going to go in, make that a little darker. Go back in with a sharp black and then put some feathery hairs. Go in with a sharp white. Okay, I want to rotate around and take a look and see what he looks like head on. Oh yeah. I'm going to add some white on the tips here. Put in some highlights. And then we'll blend it together. Maybe put some shadow in there to start with, and then we'll go back in and define everything. And I'm just following the lines that were provided on the coloring page. And that brown toned down the red pretty good. And we just gotta blend all this together. Okay, let's add just a little bit of black down in here, and then blend it together. Then we'll go back in and do our detail work. I'm gonna flip you on your side. It'll be easier for me to blend up and down than back and forth. I'm gonna start over here. Then I'm just following how the hair goes. Don't want to get too far into his ear here. Just get the hairs. I'll start over here now. Let's go straight up and down. Get this last little bit here. I'm gonna go back in with the burnt umber, and you want to make sure you have a sharp point. And once again, I want to start from the side. Start over here. Now we're doing some details, and I'm just following the lines of the page, trying to at least. Boy, I thought Harry had a lot of hair. I should have named him Harry. The lines are so hard to see. Try to get them as best you can. Okay, I'm gonna turn them forward. Let's go back in with the black and white and add our highlights and shadows. I'm filling in some of this dark area, and this is the Prismacolor black. This might take a while because you're looking for all these little dark areas and you're defining the hairs. As you might have noticed, I went in light, see how it would look, and I'm making it a little darker, finding other areas I missed. I'm going to go in with white and add highlights. I'm going to blend that together a little bit. I'm just going to follow the lines of the hairs. Go ahead and add some more shadows and blend in with the burnt umber under his neck here. This is the Prismacolor black. I'm just adding shadows where I think they need to go. Burnt umber, blend all this together. We'll start the last blender and then use the black for final details. Ooh, he was a lot of work. He's looking so good. Sharp black Prismacolor. Do final detail. Darken everything up. Make sure everything is as dark as it can be. I'm gonna go this way. Just doing sharp lines here. Round and round and round we go. Twist you around again. This area here. This hair is supposed to go over this eye. And I screwed it up. Let's see if we can fix it. Burnt umber. Okay, that's a little better. See any other areas we need to fill in black? Let's add a little bit of white, just in some areas. I'm pretty happy with that. He's got so many colors in him. He's not perfect. This is my first llama. Let's do his pom-poms. Upside down is the best way to do it. I am using sap green. Make sure it's sharp point because these are little tiny areas. And do the best you can. I know we have a white dot on here, but we'll cover it up. Put in as much color as you can. Let's go ahead and put a little shadowing here in the pom-pom. The Prismacolor black, go very light. I want to blend that out with the green again. Probably go forward with that. Need some more of the black coming from the center there. Let's pull it up and out. Maybe a little bit more right here. Same with here. Now I'm going to take this sharp Prismacolor black and define this pom-pom a little bit more. Trying to follow the lines that are there. Not as easy as it looks. Now I'm going to go in with the white and add some highlights down here. Now we got to do the gray around. We're going to take the gunmetal and start doing like we did before, filling in these areas. He's not as bad as the others until we get to the top of his head. And you can't even see all of that, can you? I'm just laying down color and then I'll blend it out. Okay, I'm going to take the blender and start blending some of this out. There's like a white line right there I want to fill in. Blend this out some more. Don't forget, I want to add some more of the distressed oxide. Blend everything together again. If you want, you could fill this whole thing in with pencil and do it that way. I'm not that patient. And I'll bring this out just a little bit more. Can't get real close with the oxide. Going really quick over it, depositing some pencil color. Plus when I spray it, I don't want to be close at all to these guys, so it's gonna be a little tricky. I didn't think I'd have to do this again, but I'm not happy with the background. And I think if I go over it with the Oxide and spray it one more time, it might all blend together a little better. Blending out these pencil marks. It doesn't matter too much because, as you can see, this is supposed to be a wintry, snowy background. So light spots, dark spots isn't that big of an issue. Well, there we go. The Llamas brothers are done. Don't they look handsome and ready for a party? Next video, we will be adding the bling with the Art Spirits paints. So make sure you hit the subscribe and notification bell so you know when that video is ready to go. I will see you on the next video, and until then, hang in there and have some fun.